So let's see how we did. Two angles form a linear pair and are in the ratio of 1 to 5. What are the measures of each angle? So what we're going to do is let's set up an equation. So if two angles are a linear pair, that means x plus 5x is equal to 180, because a linear pair are two angles whose sum is equal to 180 degrees. So x plus 5x is 6x. 6x is equal to 180. You divide both sides of your equation by 6, and x is equal to 30. So they're saying, what is the measure of each angle? So the first angle, x, is going to be 30. The second angle, 5x, 5 times 30, is going to be 150. And we know this works because 30 plus 150 is equal to 180. So that is correct. So each angle, the measure of each angle are 30 and 150. So my answers are 30 and 150. Second one, angles A and B are a linear pair. Angle A measures 5x minus 30, and angle B measures x plus 90. Find the smaller of the two angles. So let's see. Let's set up an equation. The sum of these two angles is equal to 180 degrees because they are a linear pair. So 5x minus 30 plus x plus 90 is equal to 180. So let's combine like terms. 5x plus x is 6x. 6x minus 30 plus 90 is equal to 180. So minus 30 plus 90 is equal to 60. So 6x plus 60 is equal to 180. Subtracting 60 from both sides of my equation, I get 6x is equal to 120. Dividing both sides of my equation by 6 gives me x is equal to 20. Now they're asking for the smaller of the two. I want to find both of them to make sure that the sum of both of those angles is equal to 180. So the first angle is going to be 5 times 20 minus 30. 5 times 20 is, let's make that look like a 20. Let's undo that. So the first angle is 5 times 20 minus 30. 5 times 20 is 100. 100 minus 30 is 70. So 70 looks to be the smaller of the two angles. But I want to make sure that when I take 20 and I plug that in for x for the second angle, I get angle 70's supplement. In other words, I should get 110. Let's make sure we do. So is 20 plus 90 equal to 110? And we see that it is. So my answer is 70. Okay, let's review some topics that we learned a little earlier. It says use the diagram at right. Is the statement true? Why or why not? So angle BFD and angle CFD are adjacent angles. What does it mean for two angles to be adjacent? Well, if you remember, two adjacent angles must share a common side, must share a common vertex, and must have no common interior points. So let's take a look. BFD, angle BFD. BFD is this big angle over here. Angle CFD, CFD is this angle over here. Now, the problem with this is, although they do share a common vertex, they do not have a common side. Angle BFD has signs BF and DF. CF is not part of angle BFD. CF is only part of angle CFD. That's one problem. The second problem is that notice how there are points inside angle CFD. There are points inside angle CFD, namely all these points, that are also in angle BFD. So for that reason, this fails that test for both reasons. So the answer to that is no, they are not adjacent angles. Let's erase this and go to the next question. So the next question says AFB, angle AFB, which is this angle over here, and angle EFD, this angle over here, are vertical angles. Now, if you remember, vertical angles are two angles that have opposite rays, angles formed by opposite rays. Here's one ray, but notice the other ray should look like this, and it does not. The other ray is actually sort of dog-legged. It goes something like this. It's not a ray, it's actually two lines. So this answer is also no, they are not vertical angles. Let's take a look at the next one. So let's first erase what we have here and start over again. Okay, so angle AFE and BFC are complementary. AFE, which is this angle here, which is 62 degrees, and BFC is this angle over here, which is 28 degrees. Are they complementary? Well, remember, complementary angles do not need to be adjacent. They just need to have a sum of 90 degrees. And if you can see, 62 plus 28 is equal to 90 degrees. So the answer is yes. Why don't you put your player on pause, try to do these three questions, and see if you get the same answers as I do. Okay. Use the diagram in problem 1. Is the statement true? Explain. So again, we are going to erase what we've got here, and let's take a look at the questions. First one says AFE and CFD are vertical angles. AFE, this angle over here, and CFD are vertical angles. Well, let's see. Are these two opposite rays, AFD and CFE? Are these opposite rays? Well, they are. So AFE and CFD are vertical angles. So the answer to this is yes. How about the next one? It says BFC and DFE are supplementary. Let's see, BFC. First of all, let's again erase what we've got here so we can mark up this diagram again. It says BFC, this angle over here, and DFE, this angle over here, 118, are they supplementary angles? Well, two angles are supplementary when their sum is equal to 180. The question is 118 plus 28, is this sum equal to 180 degrees? And we can see that it is not. It is actually 146 degrees. So the answer is no for number 2. Question number 3 says BFD and AFB. So let's erase what we have here. And let's take a look at this next question. BFD, this big angle over here, and AFB, this angle over here, which I will just draw like this. Are they adjacent angles? Well, adjacent angles must share a common side, and it looks like they do share a common side, and that side is this side right over here. They have no common, I don't know how that happened. They have no common points between those two angles, and they have a common vertex, which is this point right over here. So the answer is yes. And that is it for this lesson.